Captain Jukebox Heroes. Blaze is here. Great to have you along, Blaze.
Hello, Malcolm.
How are you, sir?
Very, very well indeed.
Now,
awesome, in fact.
In fact, on the other end of the phone is someone you know extremely well who wants to say hello.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Mr. X.
It's Blaze. It's Barney, Napalm.
All right, how you doing?
Hey, not so bad, yourself?
Yeah, good. What are you up to?
I've just just off to the laundrette, actually, yeah.
Rock and roll, huh?
Yeah.
The other guys in the studio can't hear what's going on. Barney just said he's off to the laundrette.
I got to wash me smalls, man.
So you two actually go way back, don't you?
Yeah, to the very early days in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Where we played like 6 gigs in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Was that
At the same venue, yeah, every week.
Yeah.
Like, somebody would drop out and we'd go in and do it.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
either I'd be watching him or he'd be watching me.
Yeah.
So that'd be it.
Fantastic.
How's Tricks, anyway?
Yeah, good, really good. We just got a tour booked. We're doing JB's on Sunday, so that sounds like it's going to be a really good
that
track.
should be good, yeah.
Should be good.
Excellent.
Yeah, I was over at Wacken, but I missed you. You were just doing interviews as I was sort of come out, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, that was great, though. What a great day.
Yeah, it's a bit of a giggle, isn't it?
Yeah, really, really good. Did you see Venom?
I didn't, actually, because I was only there for interviews, so I kind of missed quite a bit of it because I kept getting some irate PR person like shoving me back into the booth as soon as I even attempted to get out and have a look at a band, you know what I mean? So, you know. But,
well, they were good anyway. I enjoyed them and Dee Snider.
Yeah. I missed quite a lot of it. I saw some of the bands like earlier on in the day and stuff, you know. So, but yeah, it was a bit of a laugh, you know.
Yeah, it was good.
Yes.
So when are you coming down to London, Barney, to do some more stuff with Total Rock?
Probably. I mean, I'll be down next week.
Good,
Whether they can actually snare me to the death, though, is another matter. You know.
Tell you what, we should get you and Blaze to do a show together.
Yeah, I'll be up for that.
Yeah,
Right,
fine.
we'll sort it out.
But I've got a challenge to you. We have just done a Malcolm Dome jingle.
Right.
So the challenge is down
for
you to do to try and top the heaviness of our Malcolm Dome jingle.
Yeah. I'm sure I could.
I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe not.
We shall see. I'll tell you what, I bet Barney goes to the laundrette more than you do.
Yeah, that's right, because I'm more metal than Barney. I don't wash at all. I don't wash my clothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have special bacteria that cleans my clothes.
Yeah, underneath all that barking and shouting, I'm really sort of a quiet, conservative type.
Yeah,
he says. Yeah.
Small C, of course.
I know your texts, so I know your secrets.
Yeah.
Well, Barney, we better let you go to the laundrette.
Right, Big Villa win tomorrow.
Who are you playing?
Man City at home.
Right, we shall see. Have fun, Barney, and talk to you soon.
See you later.
Adios.
Ta-ra.
Well, that was nice, wasn't it? It's my cunning trick. I got people to send in questions. We've got a lot of questions here from listeners. So it makes my life easier. I don't have to bother working. Just leave it to everybody else. But it's seriously great to see you again. Because last time I think we had you on Total Rock, it was actually Rock Radio Network then. You just released the album.
Right. Yeah, and really I'm a bit fed up because I actually went to all the trouble of doing some Rock Radio Network jingles and then you change the name of the pigging station.
Well, we'll do it again just to annoy you even more. Actually, if you got them, we'd love to hear them.
Well, yeah, I've got them downstairs. I'll bring them up.
Great. Love to hear those stuff. So you finally got the album out, things are building up. Because I remember you saying at the time, all you want to do when the album comes out is tour.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the whole vibe of the band is we just want to live on a tour bus and play as much as possible, really. So it took a bit of time to get things going. Yeah. But we played the big German festival in Wacken, did that festival, and we had great reviews for that. And I think people didn't really know what to expect from the band because of it being, a singer and everything. You don't really think that you're going to come out with a band. And when people saw us, they really got the point. And at the warm-up shows that we did in the UK, people kind of understood what the vibe was. And so we're really looking forward to this tour, really, and really proving a point.
Now, the tour kicks off on Sunday, doesn't it? December the 17th in Dudley.
Yeah, JB's in Dudley. And that's going to be really cool because one of the very early gigs that we did, we actually did like a secret support slot. And we went under the name of Silicon Messiah. And we supported there, and nobody knew who it was that was going to be on as a support band, and we absolutely stormed it by the end of the show. So we're really looking forward to doing our first headline show there.
So who were the poor band who actually had to put up with you supporting them?
We supported Saxon.
Oh,
They didn't know who he was that was going to support them. We just phoned up, and I spoke because I know the guy there that owns it, and I said, "Oh, we're doing some warm up gigs. Have you got any support slots?" And he said, "Yeah, come over. We've got Saxon on. Would you like to do that?" I said, "Yeah, why not?" Nobody knew that we were going to be on. The album wasn't out, so it was really good fun.
Excellent stuff. Well, we got a lot of questions from people, some relating to Maiden, some to Wolfsbane, and obviously a lot relating to the current band. I'm going to start off, might as well ask this question actually, since it's up on the screen. Neil from the Evolution website. A couple of questions. On your upcoming dates around the UK and Europe, will you be selling merchandise?
Yes, we will. We've got some new T-shirts. We've got some very nice woolly hats.
Oh, how nice.
Well.
Lovely.
Yeah. And we've got some nice polo shirts with the embroidery on as well. So, yeah, we've got some new things. And next year we'll have a few more new things as well. We've got another couple of T-shirts coming out and a nice tour jacket.
Ooh. So you're going into that area quite... But you have to these days, don't you?
Yeah, well, really the only reason that we're going to sell nice tour jackets is so we can make enough money so we can all have nice tour jackets.
Exactly.
So,
in all seriousness now, a lot of your touring costs are financed by merchandise. Not you particularly, but bands on the road finance a lot of what they do through merchandise sales, don't they?
I mean, it's... People don't really realise when you start off as an amateur band and you're just doing really small gigs, then people don't realise the costs involved in doing a lengthy tour. So a lot of the time the ticket sales don't really cover. If you want to take a production with you, the ticket sales won't really cover the cost of that. So you do rely on your merchandise a lot.
Sure.
But we're really, really lucky because, the people that come and see us, our fans, then they're always buying our T-shirts and stuff like that.
Excellent.
And, of course, they look great in them.
Of course
They've got excellent taste.
Of course they have. The best taste in the world, really. Now, you've just been downstairs recording a session for us, which we're totally grateful to you, naturally. And we're going to play tracks over the next hour or so from this.
Oh, okay, great.
Now, we're going to start off with The Ghost in the Machine, which obviously is on the album as well.
Yeah.
Have you actually found that now you've toured a bit and worked the songs in that they've changed any?
Yeah, it seems like now they're like second nature now. And I think Ghost in the Machine is one, we all liked it when we came up with it. And it was a really good version that we demoed on our 8-track. And then when we did the album version, it was heavier still. And now when we actually get it right and we all lock in together, it just seems like, oh yeah, this is it really, really moves now.
You've got a voice intro, haven't you? A voiceover intro or something on this particular track?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Someone just said, there's a voiceover intro. I think we'd better listen. Anyway, this is Blaze with Voice in the Machine? Ghost in the Machine. Or maybe it's a ghost over or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege and an honour for us to be here at the King's Head in London at a very special show, the first show of the full world tour for the Blaze Band. Yeah, hopefully this isn't the biggest crowd we're going to play to because we are in fact playing to our drum tech and a sound engineer. Right on the edge, I'm
That is a very, very good version.
Thank you.
Very impressed with that. It really does look or sound as if you've lived with that song. You now understand the song understands you, if it's not too pretentious.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. It's one of the early ones that we did as well. It's an idea that Steve had. It was a riff that he had lying around that really intrigued me from one of his demos that he sent in to audition for the band. And I kind of dug it out as we were writing, and I said, do you remember this riff, Steve? And we had the title Ghost in the Machine, and it just seemed to fit together. So it felt really, really special. And the lyrics on that tell the story of the guy looking for immortality on the internet, and he finds a computer where he can download his whole consciousness, and that's kind of the theme of the album. Sure. And it all seemed to fit together really, really well.
Certainly doesn't, that track. Very impressive. If anyone wants to call in and talk live to Blaze, if you dare, we'll put you on air with him. No problem. We've got lots of questions already from listeners via email and also the phone. But if anyone wants to call in fact, 3 or 4 people called in just to say, thank you, Blaze. And 2 people actually said, without you, there would not be an Iron Maiden today, which I thought was rather interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Yeah. But, a few people have just called in and say, great, we love the album, we're really behind you. And we've got no questions to Blaze, just we're really pleased he's there, which is nice, isn't it? But if anyone wants to call in, even if you want to say that on air to Blaze, sure, we'd love to hear that, wouldn't you?
Say what?
If anyone actually wants to call in and say it direct to you, thank you.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were talking about hair.
No, air. On air.
Oh, on air. I thought it was saying anybody wants to talk about my hair.
No, anyone wants to talk on air.
I think it's a bit personal.
No, anyone wants to talk on air to Blaze. Oh,
I don't use expensive shampoos. I know. I'm just blessed, I suppose.
You are very blessed. Yeah. Unlike some of us, but never mind. Anyway, we're going to go up to the top of the hour very shortly, and we'll come back with a track and talk more to Blaze.
Total Rock is setting London on fire thanks to Blaze. On December 22nd, Blaze Bayley with Blaze will play his first show in London at the Camden Underworld, showcasing songs from the highly acclaimed album Silicon Messiah. Tickets for this event cost £8 in advance. Get them now from the Underworld box office or call 020 7482 1932. Join Blaze and Total Rock on December 22nd for some messianic metal.
This is Malcolm Domes standing in or sitting in for Charlie Andrews, who's not too well, but very well is Blaze Bayley, who's here still. You are here still, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm
Good
here.
Man.
I'm
and
here.
his band are here as well. Say something so people know you're here. You couldn't get the staff, could you?
No. I didn't. I got them for their musicianship and songwriting talent, and that's about it.
Well, at least they've got a good spokesman than you, anyway. As I said before, if anyone wants to call in and speak direct to Blaze on air. Rather than hair, then please feel free to call 0207 384 1010. We'll put you straight through to the man. You can ask him your question direct. Dennis in West Lothian called up before and said, what sort of live set do you do? Do you do stuff from Maiden, from Wolfsbane and from this album, or do you concentrate specifically on the Blaze album?
Well, on our warm-up shows, then we're playing a bit of a shorter set. It was mainly just the new album and a couple of Maiden tracks. But on this tour, we'll be doing a full headline set. So we'll be featuring songs from Wolfsbane and from Maiden right through, my whole thing. But of course, mostly it'll be the bulk of the set will be from the new album,
which is to be expected, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's a new thing. It's not totally different from what I've done in the past, but it's where I'm headed, and as a band as well. This is what we're about. So really we want to show people, what we're writing about, what the music's about.
Absolutely.
The most important thing to us as a band is the music. And that's what, we want people to come and see us for.
Julian Carlisle wondered, do you think people in Europe are more sympathetic to what you're trying to do than people in England or Britain?
Well, that's an interesting question. I wouldn't say necessarily sympathetic. What I would say is the attitude to me seems that some areas of the media say that band's been around for a while. That means they're really boring. What's new? You cross over the channel and the attitude seems to be that band's been around for a while. that means they must be quality and worth listening to. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been around that long.
Yeah.
So it's like a different attitude, really. So people don't dismiss metal so easily in the rest of Europe. I think in this country, I think we're so good with fashion and things like that, and new music. You know, if you think about new wave and you think about punk and everything, all the new fashions, that it's difficult for us to actually go, well, you know, there's some great music here. Not everything has to be new or George Michael.
So, or something of that nature.
Yeah, so I think it is, but there is, I think what the sad thing is that I think grunge split the scene quite a bit. Before that, you could be quite different. You could be from Poison and Motley Crue through to Metallica, and almost you could get away with liking all kinds of metal and rock. But I think when grunge came along, it was like there was a slight perception of, well, if you want to be into this music, then you can't like that music. And I think that's a bit sad, really. But I think that's gone now. You know, I think that's gone. I think now that people are just, I think the backlash is in, and I think people just want to listen to something that's heavy, melodic, interesting, something that's powerful, something that takes them out of themselves. And really, the music that does that best is metal.
Absolutely. In fact, I don't know if you know the band Stratovarius.
Yeah.
They played in London last Sunday, and this is a band who've been ignored permanently over here by the media more than anything else, and they came over, did the Underworld, sold it out, and had people being turned away. So when people say no one's into metal, it's the media saying that, not the fans.
Yeah, that's right. I found that very true when I was on the X Factor tour, because everybody was saying Maiden are dead, and basically we was playing in front of 10,000 people every night and selling out everywhere. So, and I thought, well, if metal's dead, why are they here?
Hell of a wake.
Yeah.
Has to be said. Do you take any notice of what the media write about you or about your band?
Only when it's good.
Hey, fair enough. But does it ever hurt you that some of the things that have been said about you in the media?
Well, it used to. I used to take things quite personally, but I've had revenge so many times and been vindicated that I don't know. Somebody once wrote about me, "Sorry, you just can't sing, Blaze, old chap." And later on, I was the lead singer of that person's favourite band because they were a massive Iron Maiden fan. So they wrote that about me when I was in Wolfsbane, and later on I was the lead singer of that. So I had my ultimate revenge.
That's certainly the case.
So that was absolutely great.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
So I don't take it personally, because basically I rationalise it with, well, if you didn't buy your record, I don't value your opinion.
Yeah,
because
enough.
The people that actually keep us on the road are the people who buy our records and T-shirts. Those are the people who enable us to go out, play shows. We love what we do. We love this music. That's the most important thing for us. And so the fans are important, and it's their opinion that counts. You know, we make music for ourselves. We do it for ourselves. We want the fans to like it. But at the end of the day, we're not chasing any trends. We're just trying to do what we feel is a music that we want to do without any compromise whatsoever. And we're very fortunate the fact that people have actually got into that. I've improved my singing and my songwriting so much. I feel I've really got a depth now that I didn't have before, and I feel better able to, the ideas that I have musically, better able to go, right, now this is what I want that to sound like at the end, and get a lot closer to it. Whereas with Wolfsbane, it was a bit hit and miss. And I think just the fact that I absolutely love singing in a band, it's all I've ever wanted to do. It's all I've done for my entire adult life. And I'm just very, very fortunate to be able to do it, and to be in the situation to be able to put my own band together and to get people and say, this is what the band is about. It's a metal band. And we're not going to sacrifice a melody, but it's got to be power and aggressive. Do you want to be in it? Then you're not trying to get people in just because they can play the bass, or just because, you know, it's your friend from down the road or whatever. You've actually got people who are really talented and are totally into that music. So really, it's just great. It's just incredible when we get together and we're writing, we're all thinking the same way, and then, you know, when we play live, we just enjoy ourselves so much.
That's cool. That's the way it should be, really, isn't it?
Well, I suppose that's the only way it can be for us. You know, we absolutely love it.
Now, we should play some more music at this point, I think, since
Okay.
you've got that. Silicon Messiah is the next track you've recorded for us. Before we hear it, obviously we're going to realise ourselves very shortly, but do you think the song's changed very much?
This one has, yeah, definitely. I've learnt where I'm supposed to put all the breaths now, so I don't go out of tune.
Well, I think we should hear it. This is Blaze in session for Total Rock with Silicon Messiah.
Look what you've done to your world. Do you think you deserve all the freedom you have? Watching the future unfold, humans fall and you dream of the freedom you had. Freedom you had. Look what you've done to your world, to
Now that is cool. Blaze and Silicon Messiah in session, recorded earlier today downstairs at the King's Head. That's very impressive, actually, Blaze.
Thank you.
Very impressive indeed.
Thank
the sound
you.
quality is excellent.
We really enjoyed it.
I bet you did. It sounds like you did, actually. It doesn't sound like, do we have to do this?
No, we really enjoyed it. It's like, you know, I think I fluffed up more than anybody else.
It happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're the singer, you're allowed to.
Yeah. At least I got the words right this time.
Well, do people notice, do you think, if you get the words right?
I don't know, because I always pretend that the mic's broken. So they never know. And, you know, often the sound engineer will come up, oh my God, the mic's gone down. Whereas really I've forgotten the words. I'm pretending the mic's broken until I can actually spot a member of the band who's mouthing the words to me.
Brilliant. Because that actually is a question that Christina in Manchester sent in, saying, have you ever gone on stage and had stage fright and forgotten the words to songs?
Oh, yeah, loads of times. It's always the start of the set. Right. So I have this thing now. I learn the words on their own without the music, because I used to learn it. I used to learn the words and the melody together. What I'd find is if something cut my train of thought or interrupted my concentration, then I would forget the words and I'd be like, oh no, where am I now? So I have to make a conscious effort to learn the words like backwards before I go on, because you get so hyped up when we go on. We're just out there, you know, it's like you're on fire, ready to go, and you know, give it 200%. That my mind just goes a blank. I suppose it's a massive adrenaline rush or something.
It must be, actually. Yeah.
So I have to learn the words over and over again and all of this to make sure I don't forget it. And I still forget them. I still forget them. We'll be jumping about and going mad, and I'll go, oh no, what is it? And I'll sing the same verse twice. I don't know. But I shouldn't tell people my secrets now. They're all going to start noticing.
Yeah, people
They're probably. We played in Newcastle last time, and they said, "Oh, it sounded just like the record." And I was thinking, "Oh, thank God they didn't realise I sang that verse, like same verse 3 times that night."
Oh
whatever.
Dear. Another email from Phil. I don't know where Phil comes from. It just says, I'd just like to say how brilliant your album is, and I'm looking forward to seeing you live at the Underworld, which is next Friday, December
Thanks, Phil.
22nd.
Thanks.
I understand Area 54 will be supporting you, and it'll be great to see 2 bands playing that style of music for once, and not a mixed bag with new metal, etc., which I don't like. Will you be doing any gigs in the UK with Halloween as well? Maybe you should do a tour with you 3 bands on the bill. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we are playing with Halloween in the UK. Later on in the year, we are doing a London date, yeah.
Do you know when that'll be?
No, we don't know yet. We haven't got a confirmed date, but we will be, because we're doing the whole European tour with Halloween.
Right.
And we'll also be doing the London show with them as well.
Very good.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. We're the main support for the whole tour, so we've got about 45 minutes of just craziness, really.
Area 54, now, did you choose that band?
Yeah, I did, because last time I was down here, actually, and I think I was speaking to Tom Russell, and they came along, and I met them downstairs, and they gave me a CD and everything, and I listened to it, and they sent me an email, what do you think? And I said, yeah, I thought it was good, and we had that slot open in London, so we said, well, would you like to come and do it? And we've got them on a few more supports as well around the UK.
Great. Excellent. There are young bands out there in Britain doing that sort of thing, aren't
There's
there?
a lot of very talented people playing this kind of music. You just have to go and find them.
I know, it's very difficult, isn't it?
It is difficult, because now it's very difficult to get a gig playing original material. You know, it's a lot of tribute bands and copy bands, and it's difficult to get a gig. You know, when I started off in Wolfsbane, then you could support people playing your own music. You could do, people would go and see you doing a headline set of your, 10 or 11 of your own songs without an album out, and they would support you, until you got a record deal. But I think it's very difficult now for bands to get gigs.
Do you actively encourage people to send you demos that maybe you can help by passing on to managers?
Oh, you can't really help, because if you pass them on, then I really don't believe that many people inside the music industry actually understand why it works.
Why the
so
music industry
I have
works?
very little confidence in passing things on. Sometimes if something's really good, you might be able to say to somebody, look, I think this is really good, and here's why. Maybe you should check them out. But really, I don't think people understand. People who actually work, a lot of people, there are some great, talented people who understand music that work for record companies, but not many.
Well, I wouldn't argue with you there. but we won't go into detail. So when bands, and a lot of bands do say, yeah, we get demos, we listen to them all, and we try to pass them on. Do you think they're talking nonsense? Or
Well, maybe they do, but people send me demos and stuff like that, and when we're out on tour, then people gives us demos of their bands. It's always interesting to listen to them. It's always nice to see what people are doing, and I think sometimes bands that haven't worked with a producer and haven't made an album, sometimes the music's a lot more interesting because there's a lot less boundaries there. They explore a lot more and experiment a lot more.
Well, it's probably true, actually. I was just looking at this because the next track we're going to play, The Hunger, is it very short? Oh, no, it's not. I think I know what's happened. It's all right, no problem. My mistake. Yes, I thought that's a bit short, isn't it? Because The Hunger is the next track.
Yep.
Did you actually choose specific tracks to do today for any reason?
Well, yeah, I had an idea of the tracks that I wanted to do, and then the band said these are the tracks that we're going to do. So that's what I ended up doing.
So, in other words, if this doesn't sound like it should, blame the rest of them.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, this is The Hunger. I'm looking forward to hearing it because so far it's been 2 out of 2. I'm sure it'll be 3 out of 3 in session. It is Blaze.
Outside your world, never within. Sometimes there are moments I think I'm in vogue, but I never seem to stay, don't seem to fit. I just don't belong. To be
Blaze are playing on December the 22nd at the Underworld, towards the end of the first leg of this particular UK tour, isn't it? I think you've got one more date after that in Cornwall, Cleethorpes, something like that. I can't remember now. Where is it?
Chelmsford, isn't it?
Is it Chelmsford? I knew it began with a
C.
C.
Yeah, we're going to Chelmsford, and that's going to be a great show because it's going to be wild. The end of the tour, Chelmsford, it's going to be great because we're really going to let our hair down.
Oh my God! Yeah.
We're going to go insane because we won't have another show for about 3 weeks.
So we've
got to pile it into that. We'll be revved up and red hot in London. And then by the time we get to Chelmsford, we're just about ready to explode. We've got the entire Christmas period to recover. And, you know, we'll have our post-nativity depression to get over. And then we'll be back and raring to go. Second week of January, we'll be back out in the UK. And then we go on with Halloween throughout the whole of Europe. And we'll be back in the UK with them as well.
So it's going to be complete madness on the road, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be insane.
Has to be.
It's going to be insane. I know the guys from Halloween are great guys as well, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're looking for, you know, they haven't been out on tour for a while, and it's our first full European tour, so we're looking forward to it. We're really excited.
Excellent. Now, we have a competition whereby people can win T-shirts and CDs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you set the question.
Okay, so who produced our new album, Silicon Messiah?
Fair enough. There you are. From the man himself. Who produced Silicon Messiah? If you know the answer, you can win. Oh, you've got a second part or something?
No, I was going to say there is a clue to go with that, Malcolm, which I will tell you off air.
Okay.
So just in case people need their chances enhancing.
Fine. Very cunning. But in the meantime, if you know the answer, just send us a postcard. Total Rock, London SW6 3TZ in England. That's Total Rock, London SW6 3TZ in England. Or if you prefer cyberspace, which allegedly is quicker, swag@totalrock.com is the competition email address. That's swag@totalrock.com. We have Blaze CDs and T-shirts to give away. And the question again, who produced the album Silicon Messiah? Simple as that. If you know the answer, get in there quick. Now, we've had some more questions through. One from Sean in Romford and one from David Williams by email, both pretty much connected. Sean wanted to know which musicians you particularly admire, and David wants to know, as a teenager, what music and bands influenced you.
Well, I suppose musicians that I admire, the main influence on my vocal style is, I suppose, the late Bon Scott.
Oh, what a choice.
Because in his vocal, all his personality is there. It's not like renowned, you know, as the most technical singer ever.
No.
But his personality is there, and that's something I don't really want to sound exactly like Bon Scott, but I've always strived to try and get that amount of personality and character over in my voice and make the songs come to life with the vocal.
Yeah.
And so he's been a big influence, and Ronnie James Dio as well. When I first saw him sing, then that was, I think, what made me decide that I wanted to be a singer. He's just such a hero, and he's one of the only people that I've ever been scared to meet. I'll meet anybody, you know.
Yeah,
I've got stupid amounts of self-confidence most of the time, and we met. I was recording my first album in Los Angeles, and we'd met loads of famous people, you know, rock bands.
That was Wolfsbane.
Yeah, with Wolfsbane and around that time. And the guy said, "Oh, Ronnie Dio's over there in that other studio. Why don't you're a big Dio fan? Why don't you go and say hello?" "Oh, I can't talk to him." And he was really, really cool. He's ever such a nice guy.
Excellent. It's always nice when you meet someone you admire and they are nice to you.
Yeah, and he's a master. He's an absolute master.
He is, and a hell of a talent, and a talent that matches his niceness, which is rare to say the least. It doesn't happen too much in this business, does it?
Yeah.
But what about the current people you admire? Do you have any new heroes? Not heroes, but new talents that you particularly interested in?
I like listening. Well, there's a lot of bands that I like listening to. So I like Rage Against the Machine. You know, I really like his vocal style because it's kind of half sung, half chanty, but his phrasing is always really good, and the rhythmic way that he puts his syllables together in some ways, I really enjoy that. And I like some of Marilyn Manson's stuff. I find it quite amusing. But most of the things I like are metal, really.
Oh, good.
I like. There's a Demons and Wizards album.
Good band.
From the guy from Iced Earth and Blind Guardian, and that's one of my favourite albums of the moment.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, I listen to lots of different things, but like those were my two main vocal influences.
Fair enough. Well, I hope that answers those questions. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, most of the questions pertain to Maiden. An awful lot of people, John in Bristol, Marion in London, Richard Spedding, Ted, just to name four of them, all wanted to really know the same thing. I know you've been through this before, but maybe in a nutshell, what happened with Maiden, and do you bear any grudge?
Well, basically what happened was we finished our tour, and I thought it had gone pretty well, though we had terrible weather in South America, and a couple of shows got cancelled. And one show that got cancelled was because the promoter didn't actually provide a barrier for the crowd. And we had to cancel it. He kept saying, it's on the motorway, it's going to arrive any minute now. And it never arrived. And basically, you had like 20,000 fans who would have been crushed forced underneath the stage if there was a rush. So that felt a bit weird that we cancelled that show, because, Maiden, we hardly ever cancelled shows. The show must go on, no matter what. So that felt a bit weird, and we got back, and then we had a meeting, and the band said, well, we want to, do something else. We want to go in a different direction. And, I was a bit sad about that. It was a bit of a shock to the system at first. But when I started to think about it, then it gave me a great opportunity, because it gave me the opportunity to actually put a band together and make the music that I wanted to make without compromise. And one of the great things about being in Maiden is you were never, ever in a situation where you had to compromise the music. And they'd fought their battles many years ago with the record company and everything, so that they could play the music that they wanted to play. And I found myself in a very fortunate situation, which not many musicians ever find themselves in. I could make an album of music exactly what I wanted to do, with no compromise whatsoever. And so after a while, when I realised I could do that, I set about finding the people who I could do that with, which are the guys I've got with me today, a bunch of very talented people.
That's not what you said when they weren't around.
No. And really, I'm really proud of everything that I did in Maiden, as I am with all of the work that I did in Wolfsbane. I put 100% into Wolfsbane, I put 100% into Maiden, with the songwriting, and I had great reactions from fans all over the world, a lot of support and encouragement. And really, I just look back on some of the great things we achieved. I had a top 10 single, played live on Top of the Pops, toured all over the world, 2 albums, did some great songs together. So I'm just really, really proud of everything that I did, with the band. And, I look back on it, I'm proud of that, and I really enjoy what I'm doing now, but I'm looking forward now, because the music that I'm doing now, it really feels like there's something special, that it's something that's a deeper part of me. What I learnt in Maiden, the very valuable lessons about songwriting, I learnt a lot more about my own voice, a lot more about composition and things like this. It's enabled me to express myself a lot better.
Just to bury this once and for all, there is no story, really, is there? There's no grudge, there's no fight, there's no bickering. You get on okay with them now, don't you, when you see them?
Yeah, I mean, it upsets me sometimes when people say, this and that about Maiden, and I think they're trying to kind of, make me feel better, but I'm actually still friends with everybody in the band.
Which is great.
I know it's nothing personal at all. They thought that was the right thing to do, then okay.
And also, you've moved, as you said, you've moved on. They've moved on.
Oh, well, the thing is, Malcolm, I'm so excited about what we're doing now. We played the Wacken Festival in Germany, and we were all on such a high, and we've been waiting for this tour now to go out and show people what we can do. It's just where everyone in this band is just 100% wound up and ready to explode.
Good. Well, we're looking forward to it.
We're so excited, I just can't tell you.
Well,
just to come down here today, it's like, oh, great, we're starting the tour a day early. We're doing it on the radio, so we're really, really excited.
Well, the tour kicks off on Sunday, which is December the 17th in Dudley. It goes through to December the 23rd in Chelmsford before the first leg finishes. Yeah. You start again in January the 13th, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
And it goes through to the end of January. Then you hook up with Halloween.
Yeah.
Go through Europe with them and come back to London show.
Yeah.
And then going in to do a new album?
Yeah, probably. We've got a few ideas on the boil at the moment. and we're doing a bit of writing in January. And when we get back off the tour, we're going to do a lot of writing and go and start making our new album, do some summer festivals, and start our own headline tour, I think, at the end of next year. So
it's going to be busy, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's us. That's what we love to do. You know, we love to make music. We love the lives we lead. We love this music, and we're very, very fortunate, very lucky to be able to do this.
I think we're very fortunate and very lucky you are doing it, quite honestly, with the quality of the album and what we've heard today. Before you go, Blaze, we've got one more track to play from this session, and that is a track called Born as a Stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Again, is this a song that particularly means a lot to you? I mean, are there certain songs on the album that you look back on and say that they represent something very personal?
Yeah, I think this one, this is based around the book Stranger in a Strange Land.
Robert Heinlein.
Yeah, and I suppose it works on two levels, really, because I think when you are in a band, sometimes you're outside of that 9-to-5 life, and you do feel like a bit of a stranger from sometimes the people that come to see you, or you meet people like 6 months apart or a year apart, and your life feels exactly the same, and they're like married and they've got a house and stuff. It's like, wow, and I'm just exactly the same as I was before. So yeah, and this was one of the first songs that I wrote on my own, and then I had quite a bit to this song, and then when I got together with the rest of the band, then it really started coming together, and it was one of those that I couldn't have dreamt that it would take the shape it did. It just, as everybody started putting their little piece into it and started coming up with pieces of music, and we started to get the arrangement, it just got better and better. So it's something I'm really, really proud of.
Well, Blaze, again, thanks ever so much for coming in, for doing the session, for coming in and talking to us, and answering all those questions so honestly. And next Friday, mate, December the 22nd, the Underworld. Looking forward to that.
Look forward to it. It's going to be an absolutely great night. Howling Mad Shitheads, please come. We'll be playing some of your favourites. Maiden fans, please come. We'll be playing some of your favourites, and everybody else, please come, because we'll be playing some devastating heavy metal.
Can't say fairer than that. And here is Born as a Stranger. Blaze, thanks ever so much.
Cheers.
Couldn't have put it better myself. Good night. Exactly. Blaze with Born as a Stranger from the Total Rock session they recorded earlier today. All 4 tracks quite tremendous. We got the first winner of our competition, Neil Gibson. He knew it.